Let's see, we have some court cases to talk about to wrap up, and some ongoing ones that the sheriff's station has been working on with help from the public. So a lot of events going on this week. Talking about, you had mentioned two charity or kind of nonprofit related events, the torch runs. Want to talk about those? There's Santa Clarita Valley Sheriff's Station deputies taking part in two events. There's a memorial torch run, and there's also a Special Olympics torch run, if I'm not mistaken. Can you tell us a little bit about those, Steph?
Sure. Which one do you want to talk about first?
Let's talk about the Sheriff's Station. The memorial torch run is really for it's supporting law enforcement officials and their nonprofit efforts, or what's that? What's that effort about? First, explain where are they running?
Well, the Memorial Torch Run is something that we do to honor all the fallen officers and deputies, throughout our country. We actually do our segment of it is actually from Pico Canyon all the way up into Palmdale's area up Sierra Highway, which is where we hand off the torch. It takes
That's a good run.
Takes us about 24 hours to do a whole run, handing it off to our partners along the way.
It's how many how far does each person run? Have you guys worked out the logistics yet?
We're working out those logistics right now, but are
you going to run?
I would like to. The Army broke my knees up pretty bad, so we're going to have to just see if I can't get an easy leg or something like that.
Train it up, right? Yeah. You want to go downhill, is what you're
downhill saying. Downhill for, if they got like a quarter-mile course.
Do they have a shaded portion of the course, perhaps? Because Antelope Valley, it's going to get hot out there.
I'll run it at night. I'm used to being up at night anyway.
There you go.
Yeah. But I believe the overall length of the entire race is about 300 miles.
Oh, okay. So it's not like cross-country per se. It's like up and down the coast or something?
Well, for us, it's done from station to station throughout LA County.
Okay, that makes a little more sense for me now. Okay, so and then are you raising money for it, or is it just kind of an honor for those to recognize the sacrifice of those who have died?
Yeah, it's just an honor thing.
Okay. Good deal. And then the second one, though, is connected to fundraising efforts and nonprofit ventures, which is the Special Olympics torch run.
Yes.
Which is also, the deputies are participating in that. What's the story there? What is that about?
Well, basically, that's an event that started back in 1981 by Chief Richard Lemunion, I hope I pronounced that right, out of Kansas Police Department, where he started doing this torch relay for the Special Olympics, and back then it was just a show of love and support, but it's since evolved into something really great. 2014. They raised more than $1.4 million in money to put toward the Special Olympics and for the care of these kids. So that's something we're very excited to be part of.
And when is that taking place? Do we have a date? Can we let people know?
Yeah, the Special Olympics is going to be, this run is going to be May 6th at 3 o'clock, and it's going to start at College of the Canyons.
And where do you guys go to?
Where they're going to be leaving College of the Canyons, going down Rockwell Canyon to Magic Mountain Parkway.
Toward the station.
Right, and then onto Theater Drive, down to Town Center Drive, and I believe they're finishing up at the Lazy Dog Cafe over by the mall.
They got you guys doing a lot of running.
I know,
You're going to have to trade in those work shoes for some running shoes, man. All right, well, we got to take a quick commercial break. We'll be right back on your Neighborhood Watch, brought to you by All American Bail Bonds on your hometown station, AM 1220 KHTS. Welcome back, Santa Clarita Valley. We're here on your Neighborhood Watch, where twice a month we talk about Santa Clarita Valley Sheriff's Station outreach, law enforcement activities, crime prevention, and just what's going on in our neighborhood. And Deputy Duxbury, we were just talking about some events that are going on, and another one that definitely want to mention that the station is putting on this weekend at the Hyatt Regency Valencia, which is the Emergency Expo, the Home and Garden Show. Everything's going on this weekend at that place. Santa Clarita Valley Sheriff's Station deputies are going to be there. Can you talk to me a little bit about how you guys are participating?
Yeah, for the Emergency Expo, we're going to have our own little booth, and we're going to have our search and rescue team there.
Oh, very cool.
We're also going to have our volunteers. If you're interested in doing volunteer work for the Sheriff's Department, there'll be some people there to talk to you about that. The Explorer program, which is something we and many agencies offer for kids who are interested in law enforcement, mostly high school age. They can work for us as volunteers.
Kind of interesting. Something I didn't realize. They put out some numbers, the Sheriff's Department recently. It's something like $15 or $20 million a year is being saved by all of these volunteer programs between the Explorers and the community programs and the volunteers, this like the search and rescue team. So you can't can't understate how much of a contribution that really is
It's
to
an
the community.
awesome asset, and it frees up the deputies to do a lot
Right.
of other things that we
Most
need to be
probably-
doing. So
maybe
that's
most
huge.
importantly, yeah.
And we're also going to have someone there to talk to you a little bit about recruitment. So if you're interested in becoming a deputy sheriff, or if you want to do anything involved in the sheriff's department, there'll be some people there to talk to you also.
I saw that. We've been talking about that a little bit, and it's interesting to mention the sheriff's department is obviously it's in the middle of a big hiring push, and it's looking to expand based on what the county has authorized some more money to recruit and promote more deputies, and the salary figures were interesting. I'm looking, I'm listening, I'm looking. Jerry, don't worry, I love local media, but. I saw the numbers. I was like, click the link.
All right.
But if you want more information, you can go to the sheriff's department website or the sheriff's station website, right? And you get a little more information on. Or you can, again, obviously come to the Home and Garden Expo this weekend and talk to some deputies in person, and that way they can, you get a rundown. You get some input too on who's looking to be a deputy, right?
Right. Absolutely.
So have you been to the Home and Garden Expo? Did you get a chance to go last year?
No, this will be my first time.
Oh, it's a big time event. There's going to be a lot of people there and a lot of different displays. We talk about a lot of different things there, but it's obviously it's all on hometownstation.com, or you can check it out in the newsletter. We've been putting out stories about what's going on with that, and obviously Sheriff Station take part too, because there's an emergency element. We talk about the emergency resources that are available to our community. So if you want to learn more about that, it's a great way to do that. And then so. You guys will have a presence there on Saturday. You guys will have some deputies there, and just like you said, talk to them.
Yep, we'll be there to mingle and inform.
All right. Speaking of informing, I also want to talk about some court cases that have been wrapping up. Some investigations that came from the Santa Clarita Valley Sheriff Station and from some of its related entities. A lot of people don't realize it's not just the deputies that work in our station and patrol our community work with other entities throughout the sheriff's department. There's all of these resources that are available, and one of them is the Special Victims Unit. We had a prosecution. There was a case against Michael Byrne, a 23-year-old from Canyon Country, and in November, on his preliminary arraignment, he was basically charged with 5 counts for meeting an underage, a 16-year-old girl for a sexual relationship. That was the charge, and he ended up pleading no contest to one of those charges, and he's going to receive about 6 months in jail, probation, and he's going to have to register as a sex offender for life. And one of the things when we mention these stories, it's not just to say look at that. Be aware, parents, that your kids are out there, your kids are using these social media apps, and there are predators out there that are looking to meet those people.
Yeah, absolutely.
What does no contest even mean?
Nolo contendere? It's actually Latin. Yeah, I went there. A little fancy. It means you're not contesting the charges. It means that you accept the charges, but you're not accepting the liability for the charges.
Huh.
And the distinction comes for, a lot of these cases when there's a criminal charge, there's also damages or a civil judgment that could be placed against the person. And what a no contest plea does is say, okay, you're accepting basically the responsibility of the charges, but you're not saying that you're liable for those damages that you've caused. So you can be sued separately, and a guilty plea can't be used against you in a civil trial.
KHTS news director really knows his stuff.
He's kind of laying it
that
out.
makes sense.
Am I wrong, Dux?
thank you.
Today I learned
have the
something.
gist
Hit
of
the
it?
nail right on
Okay.
the head.
So it's really a technicality. The court sees a no contest plea as a guilty plea. If you plead no contest, you're going to get, but you're also saving them, a lot of, you generally get a deal when you plead no contest because you're not contesting the charges, you're not going to trial. That's the situation there. So this guy, he did wait it out. He's been in jail for a while because I think that was part of the terms of the plea. Like he was going to have to serve some time in jail anyways. So there you go. Save that.
And it's like you were saying, Perry, that is huge. Social media, that type of thing. We tell parents a lot. We tell kids a lot. If you don't physically know the person, don't have them as a friend on Facebook or any of those different things, and really know who you're talking to. And if don't set up meets with strangers, obviously, things like that. But
And one thing I've heard Sergeant Price and now Detective Dubin say again and again is don't be afraid to say, hey, you can't have that device if I can't have the password to it. And that's the thing that I've heard a lot, where I hear parents say, but, what about their privacy? And it's like, well, ultimately the parents are liable. If some illegal activity happens, you can be held accountable as a parent, right? Or you can be, there's some, I don't want to say liable. I don't want to say liable. Yeah, I shouldn't say that. But essentially, whatever happens to your child, you're You know what I
gonna
mean?
feel
It's going to
bad about
happen
it,
to
yeah,
you. Yeah.
so you,
There are going to be repercussions. There are going to be effects. So if you don't do something on the front end, it could come back on the back end. So we mentioned those stories to raise awareness about it, and then we also have a segment that is a lot of our public enjoys, and it can be an educational segment, which is to look at some of the perhaps, shall we say, less apt criminal suspects in the Santa Clarita Valley. Peter Marquez, you know where this is going, don't you?
I don't, but I'm excited. I feel safe.
You should. You should, behind the security of your monitors and microphones. No, I like to. I guess we'll say not the sharpest suspects in the
tool shed.
In the criminal tool shed. These gas siphoning folks.
Gas siphoning.
Did you read this story?
No. This is the first time I'm hearing it.
Oh, this was a story I want. This is just a recap of some of my highlights from the year. But this man in the, I believe it was the Valencia Industrial Center, he was in an industrial park, and he noticed that his gas was missing out of his gas tank. Like,
with a hose, or?
People were just, noticing that while they were at work or, coming back to their cars, there was gas missing. So this guy sets up a sting, waits in his car. Sure enough, around 2 in the morning, a couple comes, 1:45, a couple comes, they were, allegedly had drugs on them.
Well, you're siphoning gas.
Hand in hand, right? So he waited for them, saw them, visit a couple cars with a hose and a tank, get some gas out, calls the deputies. Deputies arrive, find these two hidden, laying down in the back of a car, near a hose, smelling of gasoline. I can imagine that's going to be...
I saw this on The Simpsons. Like, this was actually on a cartoon.
I can't imagine that it's not going to lead to some kind of charge.
Or physical ailment.
Yeah, no kidding. You huff gas for too long and, you're going to... All right, well, we got to take a quick break. We'll talk about a couple more of my favorite cases from 2015 thus far. When we come back on Your Neighborhood Watch, brought to you by All American Bail Bonds on your hometown station, AM 1220 KHTS.